I've got a lot of fragrances. You guys probably know this by now. I don't have an exact number for you. It's well over 1,000. It increases pretty much on a daily basis. Not quite on a daily basis, but a lot, especially during the season of new releases. I pick up all of those and I talk about them. So the snowball effect is real with this hobby. And like I've said before in a couple videos here, more so recently, what you see behind me, all of this is stupid, okay? You guys don't need to be doing this. Don't look at something like this, a collection like this, and strive for that because it's completely unnecessary. For most guys out there, even if you're collecting, you just need a really good, solid group of fragrances. And from there, you can swap things out, sell things out, back and forth, and really maintain a nice, easy to digest little group of scents that you can wear on a daily basis and really get your use out of. So I always like to make that a point when doing videos like this, but like I had mentioned, I've got 1,000+ fragrances back here behind me and on the floor surrounding me here, but which ones of those do I actually wear? Now I saw this video recently pop up on Gent Scents channel. Ash over there ended up doing this one. I don't have as many as he does. He's got me by about 1,000+, right? So I'm sure this was even harder for him to do. For me, it was still a little bit tricky to narrow down and kind of put on paper what I actually wear the most, but here are the 10 that I do wear the most out of 1,000+. I will link these down below to discounters for you guys as well if you want to pick any of these up. That's the only way I've been able to build up a collection like this is discounters. If I were buying all of these at full straight retail, I probably wouldn't even have a home. Okay, let's go and get it started off with Hugo Boss Bottled Oud. So I've been wearing this a lot actually. I've talked about it quite a bit here on the channel. I got this one I think at late summer, early fall because I wanted to get it for fall and winter time, and so I was kind of timing it there and ended up really liking it a lot more than I thought I would. So this has that Boss Bottle DNA, the cinnamon apple combination with a little bit of oud. It's very easy to pull off. It's not too overbearing. And generally what you're going to notice here in this list, a lot of these are very inoffensive and they're very, very easy to wear. And that's because generally on my day-to-day activities, I don't want something that's distracting and annoying and loud. I want something that in a way is either comforting or kind of refreshing and invigorating and energizing. Just depends on the season mostly. And so you'll kind of see that trend here as we move forward. But ultimately this one for the price is really, really good. I like it a lot. Next up, DIOR Homme Intense. So another thing really quick, for those of you who've been watching the channel for some time now, this list will probably be very predictable for you. Okay, that's because I talk about these a lot. They're ones that just get brought up because they're ones I really truly like and wear. So in a way, that's a good thing that it's predictable because that means I'm not just picking random stuff to make the video different for just making a video. Like this is real, honest, what I actually wear on a consistent basis. Not every once in a while, right? In the perfect season for these scents, I'm wearing these all the time. And so DIOR Homme Intense is no exception. I love this stuff. It's one of my favorite Irish fragrances of all time, and the reason why I say one of is it's right there with DIOR Homme Parfum, which is very hard to get. And even as a result of that, having backup bottles, I don't wear it as much because there's always that fear in the back of my head of just not being able to get it again. It's stupid. I have enough to last a lifetime probably, but I don't know why I'm like that, but I am. Not for nothing though, the DIOR Homme Intense version is easier to wear, and generally I do find myself wearing it more anyway than I would DIOR Homme Parfum. It's heavier and stronger. And out of all of the Irish fragrances, this one generally gets the most love from me. Valentino Uomo Intense has been working its way in heavily, so is Gentleman Reserve Privé, but as a whole, this one takes the cake. And as you guys probably are aware, I love my blue fragrances. That's no secret. And I'm not just someone that goes out there and hypes them up for no reason only to not wear them myself. It's quite the opposite. I wear these all the time in the warm months, but every now and then in wintertime I'll throw one on just for something new. It's YSL Parfum. Now, I love Bleu de Chanel. I actually love all of the Sauvages, believe it or not. I love Dylan Blue. This is coming from a collector with a bunch of stuff behind me, including expensive niche, so I'm not afraid to admit it. That being said, the Ys the past couple years have really taken over. And I'm talking about my collection. They've taken over my collection in terms of all the flankers, but also just in terms of what lands on my skin the most. Sauvage has actually taken a back seat. Dylan Blue, back seat. Bleu de Chanel, Still gets a decent amount of wearing in the summertime, but the Y's have been taking over. I go between the Eau de Parfum and the Parfum back and forth. The Parfum is newer, obviously, and it's one of those deals where with this fragrance, I kind of go on a binge. You know, I'll wear it for 2, 3, 4 days in a row just because I just can't get enough of it. I get addicted to these fragrances. And so during that time, I'll swap back and forth between the Eau de Parfum and the Parfum just to convince myself that I'm putting on something different, even though they're still very similar. Ultimately, I love this stuff. It's a nice fruity, sweet take on the blue scent DNA. Great performance out of pretty much any version for the most part, and especially the new EDT. They fixed the performance there, and definitely one that I recommend every guy has. Moving on, we have ROCHAS Moustache Eau de Parfum. So basically, this one is YSL Tuxedo, but not $250. There you go. That's really, I mean, all you need to know. It's a clone of Tuxedo by Yves Saint Laurent, which is a very heavy patchouli, ambergris scent. You get a lot of that going on here with some vanilla, benzoin, and pink pepper. It smells amazing. I just love this DNA. It's something unique. Granted, again, this is heavily inspired by YSL, but in terms of just the DNA itself, what's bottled in here, this type of style is super unique, and there really isn't a ton of this out there, at least compared to your typical aquatics or blues or anything like that. So generally speaking, if you wear this, you'll stand out, and I just can't get enough of it. Next up, we have SPICEBOMB Extreme. So this is one of my favorite tobacco vanilla scents on the designer side. You know, it's just so amazing because it kind of has that throwback SPICEBOMB feel, the OG, the Eau de Toilette, which nowadays is kind of played out, at least a lot would consider it to be. So you get some of that spiciness, of course, right? But then the tobacco and vanilla are coming through together, and the vanilla mixing with that tobacco gives it a different twist over the original, which was all tobacco and spices. It's a little bit more smooth, a little bit more refined. The way I've always described it was if SPICEBOMB Eau de Toilette was a guy in his 20s, early 20s having fun, this is a guy in his early mid-30s starting to settle down, has a family, has a career, right? It's just a little bit more refined and well put together, and I like it for that reason. And again, if you're looking for a great tobacco vanilla scent on the designer side that's around $105, $110, this is a great one to have. We'll jump back over to summer. I love this scent. I love this DNA. There's no doubt about that. RASASI HAWAS. Plum, ambergris, watery notes, bergamot, all of that good stuff. And again, it's the Invictus Aqua originator. You guys can look back on the channel and see my rave reviews about Invictus Aqua, more so the 2016 before that got discontinued. Little did I know this existed first. I don't know what was wrong with me. I don't know why I didn't figure that out sooner, but I didn't. So it kind of left me wondering, you know, what was up with that. I wish I would have gotten this one sooner, because I've got Invictus Aqua 2016, and I have a few backups, and between the two, I kind of like the RASASI better. And I never thought I would say that, but I really like this one. It's a beast mode performer. To me, this is just the epitome of summer fun, you know, just going on the boat, spending time on the water, just spending time in the beautiful weather. There's just something real fun and playful about this one. Very refreshing, kind of relaxing, but also energizing and uplifting at the same time. Gives you a nice boost of energy and drive and motivation sometimes. I just really like this a lot, and I wear it a ton, along with, again, some of the other Invictus Aqua style scents. Now this one here is also no surprise. You can go back to my first ever top 10 fall list, I believe it was, and you would see me holding up Ultra Male by Jean Paul Gaultier. And this exact bottle too. I don't know if you can see this, kind of always a weird shot to get into, a little bit too close for comfort, but basically it's down to about here, right there. It's basically empty. So this one has pear, it's got vanilla, cinnamon, lavender, plays on the original DNA with the lavender aromatics here, but ultimately it's adding in a ton of sweetness, additional sweetness, as if it wasn't already enough for some people with the pear. You know, that fruitiness is something really different, mixing with all of the cinnamon, vanilla spiciness as well. It's really quite a unique scent for what it is, in my opinion. A lot of people don't want to admit that. Maybe some people just don't think that. But in terms of clones of this, there isn't really anything else out there that does it this way. That overwhelmingly fruitiness with the overwhelmingly sweetness, it really creates something quite cool, and I love it. I loved it ever since the beginning, and I still wear it all the time in fall and winter. Another one that you could go all the way back to the beginning of my channel and see me reviewing this in the woods with a pair of sunglasses on, or just putting it in my lists all the time. This is also that original bottle from 5 years ago. It's Acqua di Gio Profumo. Level is right here, but this isn't my only bottle. I have many more, and it's kind of one of those just pick up whichever one is closest to me and spray it type of deals. I have some for travel, you know, just all sorts of Profumo all over the place. And so I've worn a ton of this stuff. This has C notes, incense, patchouli. It's a smokier, more mysterious version of the already all-time bestseller Acqua di Gio. And what I like about it is that kind of mysterious nighttime factor that this one introduces. On top of it being a parfum, it has much better performance than the Eau de Toilette, and really even still most of the flankers as well. It really holds its own, has great projection with that longevity. And for me, is just truly, to me, there's something special about this one. I can't get enough of it, and always will wear this one heavily. Kind of running down to the end, we have John Varvatos Artisan Pure. So generally, as soon as we get into, I guess depends, mid-March, maybe early March sometimes, then I kind of start thinking about my spring scents. You know, I'm over winter time, I'm ready for some weather, and I'm ready for the sun to be out again, and I'm ready for it to not be getting dark at 4 o'clock. And so usually I get pretty excited. It's still relatively cold here in March, you know, even going into April sometimes. But this is kind of what I generally start gravitating towards first. It's a real nice transitional scent to get you out of those sweet scents. You know, you're going from very sweet, heavy, dark, rich scents into something fresh. And this is a nice one because it's got some of that orange kind of citrusy type of sweetness, a different type of sweetness, but still some of it mixing with like the neroli petitgrain kind of aromatic notes and herbaceous notes in here as well. Very bright, uplifting, smells great, just kind of in the crisper, cooler spring days, but it works into the warm spring days as well. I really like it for that reason. If you want a unique orange clementine scent for spring and summertime that is going to set you apart and ultimately gives you something that is interesting to you, and from maybe an artistic standpoint of not just being super generic or whatever it may be, this is a great one to have. On discounters, it's pretty affordable. Around, I think, prices come down to around $40. It used to be like $50, $60, which was a little bit steep for a John Varvatos, but it's starting to come back down now, which is great, and it's definitely one worth having around. And we'll end this video with Dolce & Gabbana The One Royal Night. So I wear this all the time, and generally what I do is I layer this with the Eau de Parfum, and essentially what that gives you is the longevity of this, which is much better than the Eau de Parfum, but then you also get the tobacco from the Eau de Parfum, which should be a part of this DNA anyway. I don't know why they excluded it here, but they did. The tobacco makes the one, at least in my opinion. It's the mixture of the compounds and notes, of course, but it's a really, really nice standout note. And so you get the best of both worlds, longevity, but then still the tobacco, which is signature to the one. But on its own, it's still great, and from time to time, especially kind of sometimes in the evenings, I will wear this by itself because the lack of tobacco, I guess one good thing about it is it makes it a little bit more smooth. The tobacco gives it a little bit more texture, and in the evenings when you're winding down, maybe getting ready for bed, this one's a little bit more silky and creamy overall. It focuses heavily on basically the sandalwood and amber combination here to create a nice silky smooth, addictive and sexy men's scent, and that's kind of what it's all about. So a couple different ways you can use this one. Use it as a performance booster or standalone. Regardless of that, I wear it a lot, and it's really been shocking how much I like it. Going into it, I figured I would like it, but I love it, and I wasn't expecting that. I wear this one a ton. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Out of the 1,000 plus fragrances that I have, these are 10 that I wear on a relatively consistent basis. So let me know down below a couple of things. How many scents do you have, and which ones out of those do you wear on a relatively constant basis? Not just a couple times a year or whatever, but how much of them are in your rotation often, and which ones are those? Again, if you have any interest in these, I will link them down below. Also, community tab, I'm posting deals. I have an emailing list as well. Just recently, Luminous Night came into stock, Prodalome Intense came into stock, and Stronger With You absolutely came into stock. Sent out emails for all of those, sent out posts for all of those, and they all sold out within an hour or less. And so if you want to get some of those rare, great deals, sign up to the email, check the community tab every hour. Links will be down below. Again, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another video. Take care.